Welcome back to The Deep Dive, the show that's all about delivering those key insights, those real aha moments, just for you.
Today we're tackling something, well, it's a bit of a dramatic one. It's a listener request, actually, that starts with this very personal, emotional loss, but it spirals very, very quickly into a global catastrophe.
Okay, let's unpack this. The whole scenario is pretty simple. You wake up one morning, and every single cat is just gone.
Every single one.
The pampered ones on the sofa, the tough ones in the alleyways, they've all just vanished. No warning, nothing, just silence.
And the immediate reaction is, of course, heartbreak. I mean, people will be panicked, searching. These are family members for millions.
Of course.
But our mission today, looking at the analysis from Kadillaran, Yokluzunan, Kurisal, Sonuslari, is to go past that initial grief. We need to look at the silent roles these animals play, the protective roles.
The things we don't even see.
Exactly. In our ecology, our public health, even the global economy. What dangers have they been quietly keeping in check this whole time?
It's like analyzing the mechanics of a collapse that we never even knew was possible.
Precisely.
So if we're looking at the immediate consequences,
Mm.
the very first domino has to be the most obvious one, right?
Mm.
The rodents.
It's the first biological collapse. I mean, it's immediate. You have hundreds of millions of cats out there, and for thousands of years, their main job, whether we admit it or not, has been rodent control.
Just by being there.
Just by being there, they stabilize whole ecosystems.
Okay, but how fast does that actually happen? The source material mentions, it says some cities could see 10 times more rats. That feels huge.
It is terrifyingly huge, but it's grounded in biology. A single pair of rats can have hundreds of babies in a year if the conditions are right.
And without cats, the conditions are suddenly perfect.
They're perfect. The cats don't just kill them, their very presence, their scent. It suppresses breeding. You take that away, and you add in all the food waste a city produces. That 10x figure in just a few months is actually pretty plausible, maybe even a little conservative.
And we're not just talking about seeing more rats in an alley. This becomes an infrastructure problem, doesn't it?
Absolutely. They invade everything. Homes, restaurants, warehouses, but also the hidden spots.
Like what?
Subways, sewage systems, inside the walls, chewing on electrical wires. That's where you get fires, short circuits, even damage to building foundations. It's a massive contamination event.
So we go from a nuisance to actual structural damage pretty fast. But the analysis says the really scary part, the hidden threat, is disease.
And what's fascinating here is we've just forgotten our own history. Rodents and the fleas they carry are responsible for some of the worst plagues in human history.
So the cats are acting as a buffer.
There are silent protectors. They don't just kill the rats, they break the cycle of the pathogen.
Meaning they reduce the number of infected fleas that could make the jump to us.
Exactly that. When the rat population explodes, so does their parasite load. You're suddenly looking at their reemergence of things like bubonic plague or maybe localized outbreaks of hantavirus from all the droppings. That ancient line of defense is just gone.
And that terrible loop, more rats, more disease, then bleeds directly into our food security. We're taking this disaster from the city sidewalk right to the global farm.
It's a very fast transition because the damage on farms is immediate. We tend to forget about the working cat.
The barn cat.
The barn cat, exactly. They are essential, non-chemical pest control. They're guarding grain silos, barns, feed stores all over the world.
So in this catless world, how bad is the food loss? Is it a gradual thing?
The contamination is the real killer. It's not just what the rats eat. They spoil so much more with their waste. The analysis suggests that within, say, 6 months, some countries could lose tons of stored grain.
And that's way more than any official pest control service could handle.
No chance. And that loss doesn't just stay on the farm, it hits the global market.
Food prices go up.
Right. Farmers lose their crops, the wholesale price of grain and corn shoots up, and countries that depend on agriculture suddenly face huge economic problems. It becomes a global food crisis, and it hits the poorest people the hardest.
Okay, here's where it gets really interesting for me. Because it's not just about the pests on the farm. The source talks about a broader ecological breakdown, right? A trophic cascade.
That's the term for it, yeah.
Yeah.
Cats are what we call a mid-level predator. When you pull them out of the food web, it doesn't just affect their prey, it throws everything else into chaos.
So no cats means more than just rats. It means mice, voles, shrews. their populations explode too,
They do. And then you get these ripple effects. For instance, all those extra little mammals are eating seeds. So fewer seeds survive to become plants or trees.
which could slow down things like reforestation.
Exactly. And you also get more competition between other species. For example, some vulnerable ground nesting birds. Their eggs and chicks are now facing a massive new wave of predators like shrews who don't have to worry about cats anymore.
What about insects?
They can multiply too, because the things that eat them, lizards, amphibians, are now being outcompeted by the booming mammal population. It's all about balance, and we never realized how much cats contributed to that balance.
So we've got urban disease, failing farms, and this slow-motion ecological crisis. Let's bring it back to the cities. How does life change for the average person?
It gets dirtier
Hmm.
and noisier and much, much more expensive.
Right, the property damage from all the gnawing.
Compromised wiring, damaged buildings, and cities have to spend a fortune trying to clean everything. It's a massive, unbudgeted economic hit, diverting taxpayer money to just basic sanitation and pest control.
But there's another cost, isn't there? The emotional one. This is about more than just pest control.
And this is maybe the hardest one to measure, but it's just as real. Cats are companions. They're emotional support for millions of people,
They help with stress, anxiety, loneliness.
especially for people living alone or for the elderly. They're a huge part of so many lives.
And when that comfort just disappears overnight,
You're looking at a silent collective trauma, a kind of global grief. Therapists would see spikes in depression and anxiety. Homes just feel colder, emptier. The cost to mental health systems would be enormous.
so with cities overrun and people grieving, governments have to try something. What are the first attempts to fix this?
The first, most obvious response is brute force, chemical and trap warfare
Just a massive deployment of poison.
on a global scale. And it's a necessary evil at that point, but it's a deeply flawed solution.
How does it backfire?
Well, first, there's collateral damage. The poison doesn't just kill rats, it kills the owls and hawks that eat the poisoned rats, which destabilizes the ecosystem even more.
So you're making another problem worse.
Right, and you're polluting the water and the land. It's just not sustainable.
Okay, so what about replacing them? Using other animals. We have terriers, right? Why not just use dogs?
It's a logical idea, but it misses the specialization. Cats are different. They're solitary hunters. They can get into tiny spaces. They climb. They don't need a handler to patrol a warehouse all night.
Dogs need more training and management.
A lot more. And they just aren't as efficient or as ubiquitous as a self-sustaining population of feral cats. The scale is all wrong.
And the high-tech solutions. Drones. Genetic engineering.
The scientists would absolutely try, but the tech is either too risky or way too slow. The idea of genetically modifying another animal to fill that niche, that would face huge ethical backlash. The risk of creating a new invasive species is just too high.
And the robot traps and things like that.
Too expensive, and you can't build and deploy them fast enough to make a real difference. Nothing can match the efficiency of what nature already designed.
So every human solution, chemicals, other animals, tech it, all falls short.
Which brings us to the really acute economic shock, the one beyond the farms and the city cleanup costs.
You mean the industry built around the cats themselves?
The multi-billion-dollar global pet industry. Think about it. Cat food, accessories, groomers, vets who specialize in felines, all of it vanishes instantly.
It's millions of jobs gone overnight.
Yeah, gone. You'd have localized depressions in places with big pet food factories or service industries, and then you have the secondary costs. Government spending orders of magnitude more on pest control than they ever did before. The free service cats provided was basically a massive insurance policy against all of this.
So what does this all mean? Let's pull it all together.
Mm.
After a few years in this cat-free world, what's the reality?
The reality is a lower quality of life. Our world is permanently dirtier, more stressful, and more expensive. Food costs more. Ecosystems are unstable, and we live with the constant low-level threat of rodent-borne diseases making a comeback.
It sounds like losing this one animal didn't just create one problem. It sort of peeled back a layer and showed how fragile our own systems really are.
That is the deepest truth of the whole analysis. We never truly understood how much they mattered until they were gone.
They were guarding our food, protecting our health.
Stabilizing ecosystems and providing this incredible, simple comfort. A world without them isn't just emptier, it's more dangerous, it's more chaotic.
So the final takeaway is that we're just more vulnerable.
Profoundly so. It's a lesson in the power of all the invisible, stabilizing forces we take for granted.
I think that gives us all something to think about the next time you see a cat. Whether it's on a fence or sleeping on your own sofa, just remember that complex, delicate balance it's a part of. Life just est. It works better with them.
Understanding those quiet forces is key to understanding our place in the world.
Thank you so much for joining us for this deep dive. We hope you'll join us for the next deep dive.